I saw you sit in that chair today, your shoulders heavy and your gaze lost in the emptiness of the kitchen. I was there when the question, "Lord, why do you let me suffer like this?" escaped your lips like a breath of agony, mingling with the steam of the cooling coffee on the table. I know you sought this message, because you can no longer bear the weight of this silence that seems to devour your hopes and makes you question whether I am still in control. Many around you say that suffering is a sign of abandonment, but I invite you to look deeper. Stay with me until the last second of this encounter, for I have brought a revelation that no human advice could give you, something that will untie the knot that has tightened your chest for so many years. I will show you exactly what I am building while you cry, and why this process, although it seems like an endless desert, is actually the path to your greatest spiritual authority. If this voice that echoes in your spirit now is reaching the depths of your being, let me know who you are. Tell me your name, from what place in this world you're watching me, and what time does the clock of your waiting show now? Now, as a daughter's outpouring of emotion, finally feeling seen by her father, let your cry be recorded here. Write with the strength of your soul, "Lord my God, I have arrived and I am here. I have signed up for this journey because my love for you is what sustains me, and I desperately long to hear your voice. Remain until the end, for I will give a clear answer to your heart, and in the end, I will whisper a phrase that will be the key to your peace." Whoever writes this phrase in the comments will receive prophetic blessings released in faith, for I honor those who wait for me. I observe the trembling in your hands as you open the bills on the table, the heavy silence that settles when the house is empty, and that suffocating feeling that the sky has become bronze, impenetrable to your prayers. You look around and see others thriving, smiling, while your own situation seems stagnant in an unhealing pain. But listen to what I tell you. The weight of this silence is not a lack of care. It is the space I am clearing so that my glory may dwell. For it is written in Psalm 34, verse 18, "The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit." This table, which today seems like the setting of your loneliness, is the altar where I am forging your new identity. I saw every tear that fell on the napkin and every sigh you tried to swallow so as not to worry those around you. This suffering did not come to destroy you, but to remove the layers of self-sufficiency that prevented you from tasting my deepest banquet. You ask me why the pain, and I answer you with my love. I am preparing you for something your eyes cannot yet see, but that your heart has already begun to sense. Before we move forward, I ask you, in the depths of your silence, what is your heart pleading with God for today? If this word has found a place in your soul, seal this moment by liking this message and sharing it with another woman who also feels forgotten at the table. Write here in the comments our word of faith for this beginning, presence. But I haven't yet shown you everything I'm doing in the hidden depths of your suffering. In the next part of our conversation, I will reveal the exact purpose hidden behind each of your tears. Are you ready to see beyond the pain? Can you trust that I am working even when nothing seems to change? Have you ever felt as if each tear that runs down your face is a waste of life? On those nights when the pillow is damp and your chest seems too small to hold so much anguish, you wonder what I do with your weeping. I am here to tell you that I don't waste a single drop. Each of your tears is a seed carrying a destiny you don't yet understand. I see you on the bathroom floor, your back against the locked door, feeling the cold tile against your skin, trying to breathe deeply so the outside world doesn't notice your collapse. I see the heavy weariness in your eyes when you look in the mirror and no longer recognize the strong woman you used to be. Suffering, my daughter, is the divine chisel that molds your strength. If I left you without going through this process, you would never discover the authority I have placed within you. I'm using this pain to remove the impurities from your soul, to uproot the fear that paralyzed you, and to build a foundation that no future storm can shake. It is a raw and difficult process, I know. I feel the pang in your heart when the emptiness tightens, but there is a greater purpose being woven in the silence of your sleepless nights. Remember what I recorded for your comfort in Psalm 126, verse 5. Those who sow in tears will reap with songs of joy. You are in a time of deep sowing. What is bitter weeping today will be the testimony that nourishes and heals multitudes tomorrow. I do not allow suffering for pleasure. I allow it for preservation. I am protecting you from paths that would destroy you in the future and preparing you for places you are not yet mature enough to inhabit, but which are already reserved in my name. That anguish you feel as you watch time pass and promises seem distant is what moves me to act in your favor in an extraordinary way. I am forging your character so that, when the reward arrives, you have the strength to maintain it and not get lost in the brilliance of the conquest. I don't want you to be just a passing victor. I want you to be a daughter who knows my voice in the midst of the storm and who has learned to rest in my arms when the ground disappears. Think about it. If everything were easy and the sun shone every day without clouds, would you have sought my face with such sincerity? It is in your weakness, in that moment when your breath seems to run out, that my power is fully perfected. I am using this time to teach you to depend exclusively on me and not on circumstances or the people who turn their backs on you today. Tell me now, if you could surrender all this pain into my hands today, what would your soul ask of me in return? If this revelation has brought a little light to your darkness, consider sharing this message with someone who is also sowing in tears and needs to know that I am seeing everything. Write your response to my call in the comments, declaring with faith, I trust the process, but I still have secrets to reveal to you, mysteries about what I will do with your offering, and how I care for those who choose to honor my kingdom even when their hearts ache. There is something I wish to place in your hands now, a call to intimacy that can forever change how you see your own journey and your provision. Are you ready to take the next step with me? Can you see that your gratitude in the midst of trials is the key that opens the floodgates of heaven? Daughter, as I continue to mold your precious heart in the purifying fire of trial, I also observe with infinite tenderness how you respond to my kindness, even when the landscape around you still seems marked by scarcity and weariness. I see your sincere desire to honor me, even when your hands are heavy from so much silent struggle. If it is possible for you, only if it is possible, transform your gratitude today into a real seed of love for this channel, which has been the sacred instrument for my voice to reach your soul and the souls of so many other children of mine who also suffer and seek solace. Consider my eternal love and the sacrifice of my Son Jesus, and contribute now using the link you find in the description of this video and in the first pinned comment. There is the place where your offering of love can be deposited and consecrated before the Creator of all things. Know that you can contribute any amount your heart feels. If you wish to offer a different amount, simply type the desired amount with complete freedom. And always remember, only give what fits peacefully and joyfully in your heart. I receive every small gesture with overflowing love. The amount doesn't matter. What truly matters to me is the heart with which it is given. For what may seem simple to you becomes much to those who receive my message through this work. Whoever decides to contribute any amount with a sincere heart, please remember to include your name and city with your gesture of affection. On the first day of the following month, we will create a unique and special video on our channel and on the Divine Love, the Voice of God page, where your name will be remembered with gratitude, mentioned in thanksgiving, and covered with divine blessings released in prophetic prayer. For it is written in Proverbs chapter 3 verse 9, Honor the Lord with your wealth and with the first fruits of all your produce. Every offering made in faith is a living seed before me, your Lord, and none of them will fail to bear abundant fruit. I see your obedience in secret. I reward you in the sight of all. Stay until the end of this message, because I still want to touch your heart with my voice. But what I have prepared for your eyes around the next bend in the road is something you couldn't even imagine in your wildest dreams. Can you feel my embrace now? If your heart has been touched by this call of love, show your affection by liking this message and sharing it with a soul that needs a new breath. What are you offering to God today? Write our word of gratitude in the comments. Offering of love. I haven't finished talking to you yet. In the next part, I want to show you that even when you felt alone in the dark, I never let go of your hand. Are you ready to see where I was on those nights? I was there when you turned off the bedside lamp, and the darkness seemed to swallow not only the room, but all your hope. I saw you curl up under the covers, feeling the cold rising through your feet, and that weight in your chest that prevents you from breathing deeply. You looked at the empty side of the bed, or perhaps at the screen of your cell phone that didn't shine with the message you so desperately wanted, and the silence of the house seemed to scream that you were left to your own devices. But listen to what your father tells you now. At the very moment when despair tried to convince you that I had forgotten you, I was sitting at the edge of your bed, watching over your interrupted sleep. I accompanied you down that cold hospital corridor, where the smell of cleanliness seemed to suffocate your faith, and each step taken on the icy floor echoed like a decree of loneliness. I was in the back seat of that bus, when you rested your forehead against the rain-dampened window and let a solitary tear fall, hidden from everyone, while the weariness of your 45 or 60 years weighed like lead on your shoulders. At that instant, while you saw the city lights passing outside like shadows of a life you no longer recognize, my hand was on your heart, keeping it beating, keeping it alive. But there's something I saw that night that you still don't know, a detail I kept secret until this moment of intimacy between us. Many times you thought the enemy had won because you didn't feel my warmth, but the truth is I was acting as an invisible shield. I was intercepting arrows of anguish that would have been lethal to your mind if I hadn't been there to filter them. For it is written in Isaiah chapter 41 verse 10, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, I will help you, I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." I didn't just uphold you. I carried you in my arms when your legs faltered at the sight of that bad news. That feeling that someone was nearby, that made you look back in the middle of the empty room, wasn't an impression of your weary soul. It was the trace of my real presence invading your space. I was there, moving the invisible so that evil wouldn't touch you while you were vulnerable. Now, I ask you with all the tenderness of my being, what do you feel when the silence of your home grows, and the shadows of the night try to tell you lies about your future? If this spiritual embrace has reached you now, seal this moment by liking this video and sending it to a friend you know who also cries silently during the early hours of the morning. Write our word of victory for this moment in the comments. Never alone. I still have something in store for you. A direction that will illuminate your next steps and a gift I prepared so that our conversation doesn't end when this video finishes. Are you ready to receive what I wrote especially to guide your days from now on? In the next part, I will show you how to walk with me on a journey of daily care, where your loneliness will be definitively replaced by my constant company. Do you accept my invitation? In this walk through valleys so deep and marked by unanswered questions, I realize that your heart yearns for constant direction. I see that you seek a whisper to guide you not only in moments of acute crisis but in each new dawn. When the weight of reality tries to steal your peace in the first minutes of the day, I don't want this meeting of ours to be just a passing relief for your weary soul, but the beginning of a communion that renews itself every 24 hours, becoming your safe haven. If your heart desires to go deeper with me and allow me to hold your hand every day, I have left you a gift in the form of a spiritual journey, something I wrote with much love and care for all my beloved daughters and sons. It is the digital book called Divine Love Devotional, The Voice of God. It was carefully prepared to accompany you day after day, in silence and intimacy, serving as a daily remedy for the wounds that the world has opened in you. Access to this journey is also available in the link in the description of this video and in the first pinned comment. And if today is not possible for you, for whatever reason, do not condemn yourself. Remain with me here, listening to this voice, because I will also sustain you with this message, and with my love that imposes no conditions, and so that your heart may rest and not be confused by the worries of this world. Know that, after you register, full access will arrive in the email you registered. Here you will find all the correct instructions, explained step by step, to begin our daily journey of restoration and clarity. For it is written in the book of Lamentations chapter 3 verses 22 and 23, "The Lord's mercies are the reason we are not consumed, for his compassions never end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness." I want you to understand that you will never again need to cross the desert without a compass drawn by my own hand. This devotional is the companionship you asked for in your lonely early mornings. Now, let me ask you something that touches the depths of your soul. In the depths of your silence, what is your heart pleading with the Father today? If this word brought a breath of hope to your heart, seal this commitment with me by enjoying this encounter and sharing it as an act of care for someone you love. Write here in the comments our covenant word for this moment. Walk with me. But I haven't yet shown you the deeper aspect of the work I'm doing. In the next part, I will reveal to you how the fire that seems to burn your soul today is, in fact, purifying everything that prevented you from flourishing. Can you bear to see what I am taking from you to give you what is eternal? Do you feel that weariness that doesn't go away with a night's sleep? The one that weighs on the base of your neck and makes your eyelids burn at the end of the day, while you try to maintain your composure before others? I see you now, taking off your shoes, feeling the cold floor beneath your feet, and the silence of the house broken only by the ticking of the clock on the wall, which seems to count every second of your exhausting wait. You look at the ceiling and wonder why the fire of trial continues to burn, why the flames seem to lick the edges of your peace without ever ceasing. But listen to what your Father tells you at this moment. The fire did not come to consume you, but to burn the chains you didn't even know you still carried. The purification process hurts because it requires the removal of everything that is excess. I am removing the opinions of others that you have adopted as truths, the inherited fears that you have kept deep in your heart, and that desperate need to be strong all the time. I see you in your room, with the light off, smelling the dust that dances in the air when the first ray of sunlight touches the old living room carpet. At that moment, you feel diminished. But what is happening is that I am cleansing you. I am removing the dross, the resentments that have crusted over your heart, and the pride that prevented you from asking for help. For it is written in the first letter of Peter, chapter 1, verse 7, that the genuineness of your faith, being much more precious than gold which perishes, though it is tested by fire, may be found to result in praise, glory, and honor at the revelation of Jesus Christ. Gold only shines when the goldsmith can see his own reflection in the molten metal. This is what I'm doing to you amidst this pain you don't understand. I'm cleansing your soul until I can clearly see my image reflected in you. I'm forging in you a patience you didn't have, and a discernment that only fire can give. That tightness in your chest you feel when you think about the future is the necessary pressure to transform the coal of your anguish into the diamond of your victory. But there's still something you need to understand about the marks this process will leave on you. You fear that these scars will make you ugly or broken, but I tell you they will be the seal of your authority. In the silence of this moment I ask you, what word would your soul shout if it had only one chance to speak to me now, without masks? If this word of purification has touched your wound to heal it, seal this moment by savoring this encounter and sharing it with a woman who is also going through the fire. Write here in the comments our word of surrender, fire that cleanses. But don't be alarmed by what's to come. I still want to show you something profound about your pain. In the next part of our journey, I will reveal how these same wounds that bleed today will transform into sources of life for others. Are you ready to discover the power that exists in your scars? Can you visualize the day when your tears will be the comfort of someone still in the desert? I see how you try to hide the marks that years of struggle have left on your face, and the invisible scars that throb in your chest every time the wind of memory blows stronger. Perhaps you look at your hands now and realize they are no longer the same as they were 20 years ago. They carry the texture of work, the weight of responsibilities, and the trace of so many battles you have silently fought. You feel like a broken vase hastily glued together, fearing that any rougher touch from life might shatter you again. But listen to what your Creator tells you. What you call a scar, I call a medal of honor. What you see as a flaw in your structure, I see as the channel through which my light will finally overflow to reach other lives. There will be a day, and it is closer than you imagine, when you will be sitting on a park bench or perhaps holding the hand of a younger woman in a church aisle, and the words that come out of your mouth will be the only remedy capable of stopping her pain. You will say, I've been exactly where you are now. I felt that same cold, that same urge to give up, but look at me. I survived. At that moment, you will understand that nothing you went through was in vain. Every sleepless night, every betrayal endured, and every loss that made you lose your footing were the raw materials I used to transform you into an expert in restoration. For it is written in the second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 1, verse 4, who comforts us in all our tribulation, so that we may be able to comfort those who are in any trouble with the comfort with which we ourselves are comforted by God. Your story doesn't end with the chapter of pain. it becomes a survival manual for those who come after you. I am anointing your wounds today so that when they fully heal, they will exude the fragrance of my grace. Don't be ashamed of what you have overcome. That woman who humiliated you, that man who abandoned you, or that illness that tried to steal your identity. None of them knew they were merely polishing the instrument I would use to heal multitudes. You are not a victim of your past. You are living proof of my faithfulness. I see you now, breathing deeply, feeling a different warmth warming your heart. It is the new life I am breathing upon your ruins. But tell me one thing, from the depths of your truth, if your pain could speak today, what would be the first secret of overcoming it would tell another suffering soul? If this revelation has brought new meaning to your struggles, seal this moment by liking this video and sharing it with someone who feels broken and useless. Write in the comments our word of authority for this moment, healing that overflows. But don't think that my silence during your process was due to a lack of interest. There is a profound reason for the times when the sky seemed silent in the face of your cries. In the next part of our conversation, I will explain why I remain silent while I work intensely on your behalf. Are you ready to understand the mystery of divine silence? There is still a secret about your waiting that I need to tell you. Can you bear a little more of my silence before the great answer? I know there are days when you look at the ceiling of your room and the silence that returns from the height seems heavier than the very pain that led you to pray. You check your phone, waiting for a sign, a door to open, or just a whisper saying that everything will be all right. But what you receive is only the sound of the wind hitting the window or the distant noise of cars on the street. At times like these, doubt whispers in your ear that I have forgotten you, that your voice doesn't reach beyond the roof of your house, and that you are fighting alone against a giant that never sleeps. But listen to what your Father tells you now, with the authority of the one who sustains the stars. My silence has never been a sign of absence, but rather the sound of my deepest and most meticulous work on your behalf. When I am silent, it is not because I have withdrawn my hand from your life, but because I am adjusting details that your human eyes could never perceive. I see you in the waiting room of that doctor's office, clutching your bag to your chest, or in front of that computer screen, waiting for an email that could change your destiny. I see your anguish when the hours pass and nothing happens, but understand, God's silence is the delivery room of your victory. I am moving hearts you don't even know, removing obstacles that would cause you to stumble later on, and preparing the ground so that your blessing will not only be fleeting, but eternal. For it is written in Psalm 121, verses 3 and 4, He will not let your foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber. Indeed, he who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. I do not sleep while you cry. I do not rest while you toss and turn in bed trying to find a solution to that family problem or that bill that is due tomorrow. My silence is strategic. If I gave you everything the moment you asked, you would not develop the spiritual strength necessary to govern what I am going to give you. I am teaching you to trust in my faithfulness, and not just in my miracles. That feeling of emptiness you are experiencing now is the space I am widening within you, so that my peace, which surpasses all understanding, may finally dwell without reservation. Think of that seed that remains for months under the dark earth. Outside, no one sees anything. It seems that life has stopped, that the planting was in vain. But it is precisely in the silence of the dark earth that the root deepens and life prepares to break through the surface with a force that nothing can stop. You are that seed, my daughter. Your desert is the place where I am making you grow from within. Now let me ask you something very sweetly. In the midst of this silence that surrounds you, can you hear my heart beating for you? If this truth has brought rest to your troubled soul, seal this moment by liking this video and sending it to someone who also feels that heaven is silent. What is your heart trying to say to God today, now that you know He is listening to you? Write here in the comments our word of absolute confidence. God works, but our journey is not yet over. I am about to take you out of this desert and lead you to a garden that I myself planted for you. In the next part of our conversation, I will show you what your transition from anguish to complete peace will be like. Are you ready to see the end of your desert? There is still something I will do today that will leave you amazed. Can you feel the breeze of the garden arriving? I see it when you stop in the middle of the path, shake the hot sand from inside your shoes, and feel that you no longer have the strength to take another step. Your throat is parched, the sun of trial seems to burn the back of your neck, and the horizon appears as nothing more than an endless line of sand and solitude. You look back and see the trail of your struggles, but when you look ahead, fear whispers that the desert is your final destination. But listen to what your father tells you now, as I wipe the sweat from your face. The desert was never your home, it was only your passage. I am leading you out of this dry land right now. Can you feel it? Close your eyes for a moment, in the silence of your room or the comfort of your bed. There is a smell of wet earth beginning to rise, a breeze that no longer carries the heat of the desert, but the freshness of the waters I have made spring forth along the way. I am taking you to a place where tears will no longer be of pain, but of profound gratitude, as you see each promise blossom before your eyes. That door that had been locked for 10 years, that relationship that seemed like a dry tree, and that failing health. I am breathing life into all of that at this very moment, for it is written in the book of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 43, verse 19, "Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert." I am not only taking you out of anguish, I am planting you in a garden that I myself cultivated for your arrival. You will no longer need to shout to be heard, for in my garden my provision will arrive even before you finish asking. The time of scarcity, where you had to choose which bill to pay or which dream to abandon, is behind you, buried under the sands that the wind carried away. Now, I give you rest. I give you the right to walk without haste, feeling the soft grass of my peace beneath your weary feet. But before we cross the last gate of this desert, I want to ask you a question that only your soul can answer. What will you do with the freedom I am giving you today? If you can already smell the fragrance of your new time, seal this transition by liking this video and sharing it with someone you know who is still lost in the desert heat. Write our declaration of ownership in the comments. My garden has arrived. Don't go away yet. We've reached the most sacred point of our conversation. I saved for last the answer you've been searching for, and the phrase that will seal your victory. Are you ready for my final whisper in this encounter? There's something I'm going to reveal to you now that will change the way you face each tomorrow. Can you bear the joy of knowing that your greatest battle is finally over? Now, as the sun of my grace begins to illuminate the darkest corners of your room, and the weight that once crushed you becomes just a memory of where I took you from, I want you to keep this truth in the center of your soul. You asked me with a broken heart why I allowed such pain on your journey. And today, through this sacred encounter, I have shown you that each thorn was an invisible protection, each tear shed on the pillow was a seed of glory, and each of my silences was the necessary time for your faith to take deep and indestructible root. Suffering was never your final destiny. It was the womb where your new authority and your new identity were generated with patience and infinite love. You are no longer the person who began this journey, carrying the world on your shoulders. You are now the daughter who understands that the desert was the school of your strength. Remember that promise I made to you at the beginning, that I would give you a phrase that would be the spiritual key to your peace and the final answer to your battles. The time has come. When the world asks you how you can still smile after everything, or when doubt tries to whisper again that the burden is too heavy for your shoulders, you will lift your head, breathe the air of my presence, and declare with all the strength of your spirit, I can do all things through him who strengthens me. I invite you now to seal this moment of victory, right here in the comments, as an act of faith and a response of love to your Creator. I can do all things through him who strengthens me. By typing these words, you are releasing the weight of the past and receiving the armor of my courage. Don't stop seeking my voice. I still have profound mysteries to reveal to your heart, and new layers of my love that you have not yet experienced. Continue immersing yourself in the messages of this playlist, because each word is another step towards the abundant life I have prepared for you. There is something I will show you very soon that will completely transform your vision of your own future. Stay connected to me, for our journey of miracles is only beginning. Feel now my final whisper, sealing your soul for what is to come. Your pain was the cocoon that now breaks open to the light. Fly with the wings of hope that I myself gave you. I am your God, and you will never again walk towards loneliness.